It's good to have you join us again. This is your favorite program, Close Flow, coming to you from NTA2 Lagos Network Center. And we are delighted because we know that the conversation is not just about us here in the studio or who our distinguished guest is, but also about you and how you are also, joining the narrative about Nigeria and how we are changing the future for Nigeria and for Nigerians. And probably we are also looking at the entire African continent because Nigeria, after all, is the most populated country on the continent. So what are we looking at today? We have a distinguished guest who is going to be speaking with us about, would it be sheer luck or coincidences? Or is it a systemic or systematic way of doing something or entrenching different interests? When we say poverty, is poverty a choice? Or is poverty self-inflicted? Or is poverty actually passed on to us by maybe leaders, colonialists and all that and all that? So we are also asking ourselves, so how do we make sure that we secure the food chain and the food value for a country like Nigeria, where we are now exceeding over 200 million citizens, and yet how much of food are we producing? Are we still depending on the smallholders, farmers? Are we still depending on farmers way back home in the villages? Or are we now wrapping up on our agric model to be sure that actually we can produce enough to feed the entire 200 million people in Nigeria and then, of course, the rest of Africa? Then we are also looking at how the free trade agreement proposed by the African Union can also now be used to multiply or to expand or to actually grow the agricultural sector, not only in Nigeria, but again across the continent. Well, our guest, incidentally, is not a Nigerian, he's not an African, but he has such disposition about how Nigeria and Africa can now take up this issue of remodeling or regenerative method of farming or agricultural development. And so he is saying to us that we must not follow the Western system. We have to discontinue with what we have been handed over to us by colonialism, that we must not follow the Western system. Instead, we should develop our own system of ending poverty and agricultural, as it were, slacks. So how are we going to do that? That really is the exciting thing about this conversation. How do we want now to do away with what we have been practicing for years, and how do we now generate or regenerate what is new, what is fresh, what is current, and what can actually feed us and remove us out of the poverty line? Those are the questions we're going to be asking him. And incidentally, you get to meet our guest shortly. He's speaking to us all the way from Jerusalem. So I say to all Nigerians, shalom, and to our guest, shalom. Welcome to Close Flow.
Shalom Fula, great being with you.
Great.
Such a big pleasure.
All right, so let's get a little bit of our guests. Let my producer give us the e-flyer telling us who our distinguished guest is, and then we will now take the conversation from there.
Hey, beautiful, your eyes, your smile are all begging me to take you home tonight. Now reading page 3. Experience unlimited superfast internet access from Entel 4G.
Entel. Live more.
Experience unlimited super-fast internet access from Entel 4G.
Entel. Live more.
There you have it. So we have Dr. Nimrod Israely. You're welcome to Close Flow to Nigeria. You're looking at a captive market of about 200 million citizens. So you welcome Dr. Nimrod. You're welcome to Close Flow.
Thank you for that.
Okay, great. So let's hit this journey running. You have given us the impression that there is a connection between what we want to, if we want to end poverty and the way we think intellectually. Where is that connection coming from? You want to explain to us again so that Nigerians can buy into this story you're trying to share with us?
Yes, that's such a fundamental question that we failed to ask for too many years. And I got to ask it after I thought myself that the most important thing for farmers, for agriculture, for success is technology. I grew up as a farmer in a kibbutz. Kibbutz is a community, and when I grew up, it was a community of farmers. The income, almost all of it came from farming. And I was sure that it is about technology. So naturally, when I wanted to help others at a certain stage in my life, I went to university, I did my Ph.D., and then I founded a company that is doing technology for farmers, and I wanted to do the best technology possible.
Okay.
And I did it. After many years, I had a solution that replaced the need for sprays for the most problematic group of pests in the world. That is fruit flies. I was amazed. I was surprised. After all the blessings and meeting the prime ministers and presidents, I saw that farmers that I've met in India and then in Africa, 97% of them are smallholders. 97%. Even when the price seems to be low, they couldn't get the technology that was supposed to make everything different for them. Even when I gave them the technology for free, everything free, what I saw that they remain in poverty. And I couldn't figure out how is it possible. What is wrong? I could see that those farmers, they are smart people. That none of them is stupid. The fruit is great, is wonderful. So what is wrong? What is not working well? This is the question that I was asking myself, and I didn't have a good answer. So I started asking myself, how come that my parents in Israel
Yeah.
became prosperous farmers, although they began with nothing? Okay? So this
Whereas,
is the what?
whereas in Africa, in India, in some other countries, farmers who have such a huge layout are still in poverty.
That's right. And I couldn't get it because in 1948, when the state of Israel just began, everybody in Israel were poor, including my own parents. And the same is in Africa, the same in India,
Yes.
so and the same in Nigeria. So why is this difference? And then it took me to study my own culture, my own agriculture.
Okay.
What did we do different? What is not worked well for us, but not for someone else? This is what I was trying to understand. And this is the question that you were asking.
Yes.
Why do we have poverty in some places and we have prosperity in other places? Right, FM?
Yes. Thank you very much. So you have now given us like the tip of the iceberg. Now let's delve into it. Now, from your own observation and from your experiences, from your interactions with virtually everybody, either at political level or professionally as farmers, where do you think we need to move, we need to migrate to in Africa? Do we need to reinvent the wheel, as it were, or do we need to create a new technology that is African-based or African-developed or African-oriented? What exactly must we do, Nimrod, to get out of this poverty trap?
So you said maybe one of the key words in the past 20 years, maybe more, and that is technology. We seems to think that technology is everything. And so what we do is we invest in technology more and more. We invested billions into technology, and the result that we got is, zero. If more than 50% of the population of Africa, of Nigeria, of the workforce is coming from agriculture, most of them live in poverty. And we, for decades, invest in technologies, then something is wrong.
Yes.
And this is what I found about Israel, about my family, about the kibbutz. I found that 50, 60, 70 years ago, technology was very poor, very basic, nothing to talk about. And still, when I was born, only 17 years later, after the establishment of my kibbutz of Israel, it was already prosperous. So I asked myself, if everybody is talking about technology, how could it be? And then what I found, that we are talking about two other things that no one is talking about. Everybody neglected because technology is so sexy. It is so easy to sell you a piece of technology, and it's like a magic.
Yes.
Just buy this tractor, just buy this chemical, buy this computer,
Harvester.
and,
Yes.
and that's it. But the other two things seems to be far more important. The first one is what we call ecosystem. Ecosystem, we know it. If you want high tech, you need ecosystem. If you want natural resources, it's ecosystem. Everything is ecosystem. You don't have a good ecosystem, forget about the rest. So one is the ecosystem, and to make it simple for everybody,
Yes.
ecosystem is about the value chain, the entire value chain, including the finance, the R&D, the access to market, everything. So this is the ecosystem.
Okay.
The second is a business model. And the business model is very easy, is how you are going to make money. And this is where we fall, now I speak as an African,
Yes.
we fall time after time in Africa and all over the world. We seem to want to bring a fast solution to poverty. So we jump. It's like taking a child from kindergarten, now taking him
To
to
university.
the end of university. It's not going to work. The foundation, which is the ecosystem and the business model, this is where everything works, everything begins. Without this, there is nothing. Israel is now considered as the most, or one of the most advanced in technology.
Yes.
But it came many years after. So what we should do now in Africa, in Nigeria, is to think about the entire package. And the package start with the value chain
Yes.
/ ecosystem, then business model. The business model should be different. Maybe this is the next thing that we're going to talk. Should be different than what we are having today. And only then it's about technology.
Okay, great. Nimrod, without being too, as it were, being too academic, all these elements are all linked together. The business model, the ecosystem, the system that you want to build.
Technology.
Yes. Everything will be part and parcel of it. It's like a cycle. So if it's a cycle, where do we start from? How do we, for instance, if you're coming into Nigeria, how are you going to help us to understand how we need to create that ecosystem that we need for us to actually escape from the poverty trap?
Okay, so you said the right thing, the poverty trap.
Yes.
We are trapped. We try here, we try there
Yes.
for decades.
Yes.
With a lot of money and technology, it's a poverty trap. And the way to start it is first of all by analyzing and understanding why we are trapped. So now we understand. We understand that our problem is not the technology. We should come up with a new, dedicated, tailor-made business model. And then also ecosystem, which I will speak, and everything should come together. At the same time. Now, one thing come up to my mind,
Yes.
which Africa did and did well. India did and did well. If you think of Africa 10, 20, 30 years ago,
Yes.
communication, telephones, there was nothing.
Yet.
You would go to a farm, to a village, there were no telephones, no computers, no internet.
Yet.
Today you have everywhere.
Yes.
And what happens is that we had the cell phone revolution. And those companies, they were motivated financially to go and have a set of antennas, of internet, everything. It was it is very affordable for the people. Now everybody is having it. It is all over, and it is very
Useful.
good business for the companies.
Yes.
Now, practically, we should do the same. We should come up with a business model, ecosystem, and technology that we can apply almost immediately, and almost immediately jump in the income of the farmers. If you see very slow, probably something is not working well. So this is something, when it works well, just like with between the telephone, the landline, and the cell phones, you should see an immediate change. This is where we are going. This is what we should do. And we can do.
Okay, I love that again. That is quite commendable. We must recognize that point that you have shown us, that we can take a direction. Once we agree, this is what we need to do. We create the right business model, and then all of us can buy into it. Now, the next question will be this. We have a huge market of small holders. Our farmers are almost like, maybe they just cultivate like a field or 2 fields or 3 fields compared to the massive hectares being cultivated by developed economies. So now, when you speak about kibbutzim, is that we want to come back to the communities and begin to spread some kind of, well, not communism as it were, but try to spread some kind of community interest, community set goals and all that? Is that what you're preaching to us here now, Nimrod?
Yes. Part of the ecosystem that we are talking about, that we need to change, we must change if we want prosperity, is to understand that if we keep on doing the same thing, we will get the same results. And you know, this is madness, as Einstein said in the past.
Yes.
So what we should do is look at historical examples of somebody, someone, somewhere that did things differently and worked well. And this is precisely what I was looking. After I was looking a lot, finally I stopped and I said, wait, this is how I grew up.
Yes.
I grew up on a kibbutz. Everybody was poor. I mean, my mother is a Holocaust survivor. She lost her family. She escaped Europe. She came with a shirt and pants, no money. She escaped at the age of 16. She arrived at Israel. So also no money. She didn't know the language. She didn't know agriculture so good, although her parents were farmers, and farming was not that advanced in East Europe at that time.
Yeah.
So, and all of her friends that came to Israel were the same. I grew up with kids in my class. All of our parents were orphans. I never thought of it. It was so natural to me. So I came to think, wait, if they did it, I mean, our parents, why Africans can't? And what did they do? Instead of fighting the market one by one, which is very difficult, they made a community. And if you dig into Israel agriculture, you will see that 100% of the Israeli agriculture is based on communities.
Yeah.
Different type of communities, all of them communities, not like villages, that it is just a few houses together.
Yes.
No. Those communities in Israel, they share the income, they share the land, they share the inputs.
Yes.
Okay, the marketing.
Yes.
It's very intensive. This is what we need to do.
In Africa.
No more one by one.
In Africa.
Yes, absolutely. No more one by one, no more smallholders. We should have many millions of smallholders in
should
one
come
village,
together.
1,000.
Yes.
Let's have them working together.
Brilliant. Now, Nimrod, I must tell you, that is absolutely brilliant. As a matter of fact, you are just recalling or regaling us with what we used to do in Africa years back, centuries ago. When our parents were growing up, they were actually community farm holdings before the individualistic mentality now came along, maybe because of colonialism and all that. We will come to talk about that. When we come back, we shall return to you. Nimrod, I want you to take a break, take some coffee where you are, and then I will take some water here. Then we'll come back to you again.
We must dilate their eyes, we look for if they have cataract, look at the back of their eyes, they have glaucoma, we do a full workup for them.
You will remember
government
the
should
forest
actually
tribe, they
open
will
their
make
eyes,
you
especially south,
will
south,
remember with
southwest of this
Australia.
Going to be looking deeper than we ever looked in before to ensure that we close all the loopholes.
It manifests as physical survival. And
every edition is an arresting conversation with distinguished Nigerians from various strata of the society, bearing their minds on how we can realize the Nigeria of our dreams. Join us live on Close Flow, Monday, every week here on NTA2 Lagos Network Center. Close Flow. The conversation is about you.
All right, thank you for staying with us. We see have Nimrod with us, and we are also inviting you to join the conversation. He has made some very salient contribution about the fact that if Africa wants to get out of the poverty trap, we have to actually regenerate the way we used to do things together. That is, again, for us to have what they call in Israel, Kibbutzim, but it's the community life. We need to actually expand a community base and stop living this. Now, Nimrod, let me quickly come back to you. Maybe we need to help us correct that impression before I give out the telephone lines for our viewers to join us. And that is, are you saying to us now that the poverty that we are trapped in is systemic, that it is actually created or is actually imposed on us by the lifestyle we have chosen? Is that what you're saying? Hello? Nimrod, are you with us? Hello? Okay, all right, okay, let me do that again. Quickly, it is important for us to know exactly where we are going, because by looking at where we are coming from, this poverty trap that we are experiencing, the question is, do you think it is imposed on us, or it is because of the choice we have taken, the lifestyle choice we have taken? Where is it a systemic thing that is now making us to be so impoverished and we are not getting a way out of it? Is that what we are saying? Hello? Nimrod, are you there with me? Okay, all right. Let me quickly invite all our viewers to be part of this. Okay, Nimrod, you're back. Okay, you're here with me, right? Yes, just speak up so I can know that you're hearing me.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, great. Okay,
now
great.
I also see your picture.
Yeah, all right, thank you. Now, I asked you just a simple question. I'm saying that this poverty that we're experiencing here on the continent, do you think it is systemic? Is this something that has been imposed on us, or is this something we have cultivated by the choices we have made, that is our lifestyle and all that? Where do you think it's coming from? Where can we trace it to?
It is clearly imposed, meaning this is the system which, unless we change the system, Africa, Nigeria, developing economies have no chance to escape poverty, the farmers. And the way it is imposed is a different way of colonialism. It began as a business. Companies, technological companies, in the West mostly, because science was more advanced in the West, still is, they developed technologies. Then to ensure that this technology will be used and have privilege only for them, they had a special business model that is good for their own farmers, but not good for Africa, not good for Asia. This business model is very simple, and we all know it. It means that we give you our technology,
And
in return, you give us money. This is very good if you're a farmer that has access to bank, to money. If you are having a big field, your income is high, your
cash flow, your cash flow,
and so on.
yes.
But for smallholders, which have very little income, have no access to bank, to money, of course not to dollars and euros, this is devastating. This is killing them. And even if we give them the technology for free, what happens? They don't have the other part. They don't have access to premium markets.
Yes.
So they
yes.
sell the same good products in their own village for a low price. And what happens if I sell, let's say, my mangoes in my village, I get 10 cents per kilo. In Israel, when a mango grower is selling his mangoes, in the next city is getting more than $1. So it's 10 times more. This is what you see. So you don't have a chance even to get out of this poverty trap. And this is why we see today, decades after we already don't have colonialism, you see that the income per hectare, this is what we should look. The income per hectare is 1% to 5% compared to the West. Okay? Sometimes 10%, but much, much lower. One crop that I love because it has such a great opportunity in Africa,
Yes.
that is mango. Now, in Africa, in Nigeria, mango growers, their income is $500 per hectare, roughly. How much is it in Israel? 1,000? 5,000?
Per hectare.
3,000?
Per
Per
hectare.
hectare.
Wow.
10,000?
Wow.
How much do you think? So it's not all of those. In Africa, it is $500 per hectare. In Israel, it is $50,000 per hectare.
Nimrod. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So
That is mangoes,
How
just
many-
mangoes.
the mangoes.
But mangoes go to West here in Nigeria, Nimrod.
That's right. When I open the internet and you do mangoes Nigeria,
Yes.
you see that Nigeria is losing every year nearly $1 million worth of mangoes. The global mango market is nearly $60 billion, and Nigeria is losing every year 1 billion.
1 billion of that. 1 billion of that market value.
Now,
Wow.
if Nigeria was able to take the same mangoes you are already growing, export them to Europe, to China, to other countries in Africa,
Yes.
to premium markets, you could do $2 billion. And even then, think, if you double the income of those farmers, which most people think it is impossible, but doubling is only from $500 to $1,000.
Yes.
Obviously, it is only from 1% compared to the Israeli farmer that I'm working with for 23 years now,
Yeah.
to 2%. Now, 2%, it's still very little, but let's
That's-
make the first step.
Okay. All right. Let me quickly give our viewers, because I'm sure quite a number of viewers who like to ask you questions, Nimrod. So let me quickly roll out the numbers so they can join this conversation because it is becoming quite edgy. Can you imagine how much we are losing because we are not doing what we need to do appropriately? Now, you can WhatsApp us on 080 20384130, 08020384130. That's on WhatsApp quickly, so we can just take out your messages and share with Nimrod so that I can, respond to that. Or you can SMS us, just in case you cannot get us on WhatsApp because of data. SMS us on 080 63508434. 08063508434. I'm not going to take any call because of drop lines. Let's just use those two platforms so we can then get to speak with Nimrod. Now, Nimrod, you have created a little bit of I don't know how I can capture it, but I feel the sense of loss in what you have just captured for us, you have described for us, what we are not doing appropriately, what we are not doing correctly. Now, let me take you back. So what are we regenerating? What exactly are we reconnecting? How are we getting our smallholder farmers to become big holders rather than small holders? What do we need to do and do immediately, Nimrod?
Okay, that's the number one question. This is also what I ask myself, and I want to address those that understand the problem in Africa and are looking
for solution
and legacy and create dreams. You have in Nigeria millions of people, young people, brilliant.
Yes.
They want to do things. Now this is the time for the government and for business people, for investors that are looking to leave legacy. This is the time for you.
Great.
And how do you do it? For this, I created a model. It's called Dream Valley.
Yes.
Dream Valley says we are not going to bring piece by piece. We're going to those communities, speak with them like we are equal.
Oh, great.
Not like we are coming from above.
No.
Not at all.
We are on the same level. We are on the same level.
The same level, and explain our attitude and then work with them to have stronger community that is working together. Then we can do, this is already the beginning of a new business model.
Yes.
And this business model, the attitude is very simple, and I will put it, go global or die local.
Say that again, please, Nimrod.
Go global or die local.
Wow.
Nigeria cannot do enough. It's not good enough to say we are growing our own food. Just like it is not good enough to say you are not in poverty because your income is more than $1.9 a day. We should aim for the stars.
Yes.
And the stars means no more talking about poverty. We are talking about prosperity. And prosperity has no limits. We are not talking about food safety. We are talking about people that are having enough money, they can buy whatever they like, anytime they like. And you know well that anyone with enough money in his pocket will never starve.
That's true.
So now we are looking to take those communities together with local investors and business people and the government, which I invite to contact me after this program, work together with them to have prosperous communities, aiming for export. Why export? Because export, it means that you take the same thing that you are growing, like mangoes,
yes,
you are selling it to premium markets. You are going to get the best price in the world for what you get. then you make more money. Not so little, but much more.
But much more.
This is our goal.
Great. I must clap for you. I must clap for you for recognizing that we need to do that to create that model and help us to shift the paradigm. Now, Nimrod, I'm not sure that some of our viewers are sending in questions. I'm going to pile them, right in front of you so you can respond to what they're saying. But another aspect of this, or the flip side of it, would be the technology we are trying to deploy. Are these chemicals? Are they or are they natural solutions that we can use that will no longer harm the earth and the environment that we live in?
That is an excellent question. And really, we should not fight the old war. And the old war is to have the same chemicals that the West, that I was using 20, 30, 40
years ago. Yes.
Today, the 21st century, we are talking about consumers that are ready to pay much more money, but they want no chemicals. They want agriculture that is not hurting the environment and not the health of the farmer, not the health of the consumer. And this is called regenerative agriculture.
Yes.
It is agriculture, if possible, with no chemicals at all.
Great.
Then you can also have more money. This is how you beat the system of the West, because the West is built on selling chemicals. If you can have agriculture that is not using chemicals,
yes,
that can be easily applied, just like those cell phones, easily. You don't need electricity, you don't need computers, okay, all of those things. You can apply what we need today in Nigeria, and you can get what consumers are looking for. This is regenerative agriculture. This is the solution. This is the new agrotech and the new agriculture that we should aim for.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, because the problem will be about fertilizers. We know that around here, fertilizers are often, placed on the table or on the dashboard, that without the fertilizers, we are not going to get good output from the farmlands. So what are you saying to us that is regenerative agriculture we are talking about will not be using such fertilizers?
Today, the most advanced farmers in the world already know that fertilizers, which are salt, they are killing our soil.
They are killing the soil.
Yeah, they are killing our soil. So, and this is what we've been doing for too many years. And now it is time to regenerate and regenerate our soil. For millions of years, we have trees, we have forests, we are growing our stuff without those synthetic chemicals. There are ways to do it, which I would love to introduce to Nigeria, although you also have very good experts in this field, but it needs to be understood. The future is without it. And about 2 years ago, when I had a project in Senegal, we did a full project. We doubled the export of mangoes from Senegal to Europe, all of it with no chemicals, no sprays, no fertilizers. And the infestation by fruit flies that typically
would destroy,
damage 50 to 80% of the fruits went down by 99% with a technology that needs no sprays.
Wow. Amazing.
No spray.
Amazing.
So this is what we are looking for.
Okay, all right. We are still waiting for our viewers to join us so that we can throw some questions at you. But for me, you are saying to us that the prosperity that we are building now, or that we are advocating, or that we are pushing, the prosperity we are pushing that Nigerians can buy into should be designed amongst Nigerians. It is not like we are importing it. It is something that we can sit down with the communities in Nigeria, and each one of them can look at what they want to develop the farms, either it's mango or cassava or cotton or banana or whatever it is. Is that what you're saying, Nimrod?
Not really. The world is big. We should not avoid science and scientists and innovation that is happening all over the world.
Great.
There is no country in the world that should or could do things by itself. Just look at North Korea. Nobody wants to be North Korea. But we should look 10, 20 years into the future. And already now that we are harvesting new technologies, do not harvest those damaging, poisonous chemicals. And the most important is definitely up to the Nigerian, and that is working with the communities, building the business model, building the ecosystems. So again, you can have experts such as me to help to work together, but eventually 99% of the work is local.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, all right. So we should let our viewers know that this is very key, that they are actually the key players here now, because what you have said, you can give us the roadmap, but then we have to now sit down and begin to walk the street and realize what we need to achieve. Now, if we're going to have a to-do list, Nimrod, from your experience, because you were in Senegal, you were able to share some things with them there, and they achieved so much. If you are going to have a to-do list for Nigeria, for instance, what would you list for us that Nigerian government or Nigerian stakeholders should begin to work with?
The list would be very simple. Have one project, one model project that is successful, that everybody can copy after that. And I suggest this project will start with something that today people are looking and saying it is impossible. And I said this is the mango industry, that we can move really fast from devastating situation today to huge export, a lot of money. It's very central. We're not talking about a small industry.
Income.
It's not a small crop. And I am talking about another thing is fresh produce. You should understand that when you take 1 kilogram of mangoes, fresh, and you sell it in Europe, you can have 1 to 2 euros in your pocket.
Wow.
When you do it with processing mangoes, you invest a lot, and your extra is maybe 10, 20%, maybe 5% of it. Processing is far less profitable when it comes to fresh produce.
Wow. So the natural produce itself, as it's coming from the farm, if you can preserve it and keep it properly and then export, you can actually earn more money from that. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely. Wow. As a child, we had an apple orchard, and we collected all the rotten apples and sent it to industry until we learned better. And now we have zero or one factory all over Israel for processing fruits, because the income for the farmer, the profit, is so small.
Yes.
African, if you want to make money, sell fresh mangoes, fresh citrus, fresh whatever you like. You make much more money.
Okay, great. Again, now let's come back to something that you mentioned in one of your, conversation with us. Now, who will now own the rights to this? Would these models we are developing, would they now be put under some kind of intellectual patency or some kind of intellectual property control, some kind of trademarking and all that? Are we going to be experiencing that?
What we actually want, we want to show that this is highly profitable, and no one will get into a business unless it is profitable. Again, think of the cellcom industry. So to attract, yes, we must have intellectual property, but just like you have with telephones, you have many cellcom companies. The same will be here. Just like you have with, anything, AliExpress, Amazon, all of those, anyone can do it, the same, because you know the model. But you need to start with the first one. Right now, there is not even one. There is nothing to protect even. Definitely, we need this protection, and we will have it, and no business person will get into this business unless they feel protected.
Okay, thank you for that assurance. Again, now, something again that is peculiar maybe to the continent or to Nigeria will be the question of infrastructural deficits. Now, my worry will be in advancing in this new techie that we are looking at for the agricultural sector. Do you think that part of our infrastructural deficits may now become a negative impact on what we are trying to roll out?
Yes, this is, I will tell you the story of myself. When we come with Dream Valley and we want to take mangoes from the fields of smallholders
to the market,
to take them all the way to New York, to Paris, to Berlin. Now, if there is no port, no roads, how can we do it? Or the cost is so much costly of doing it. If there is no cold chain, how can we do it? So definitely, this is a very big inhibant and something that is stopping the entire industry from moving fast.
All right, thank you again for that. So that is a slack we need to quickly also overcome. Now, the next thing will be to share this knowledge. Are we going to be expanding, as it were, the capacity of farmers, smallholder farmers, to now understand this new future you are describing for us? So would that be some kind of capacity training, some kind of learning, some kind of relearning, some kind of unlearning? Is that what we're going to be doing again as we get to mix at the community level?
Okay, that's a great question, and I will give you my perspective as a farmer. As a farmer in Israel, I told you I grew up in a community. We always get a lot of support. We as farmers, we do very few things. Even though everybody's got their bachelor degree, master's degree, some of them like myself, Ph.D., you still have to do just farming. The same is in Africa. Don't speak about capacity building for the farmers. What we should do, and this is what I do with Dream Valley, is I bring a package. So I say to the farmer, do what you know how to do best. I will tell you what you need. If there is anything else, other than this, it is my duty to supply you everything you need.
Great. Great. Okay, all right. I'm sure because of our technical hitches, we are not able to get Nigerians to call in from either from here locally or from the diaspora. But we are going to, of course, share this onto the social media platforms so that every other person can therefore join the conversation at that back end and interact with Nimrod later on. So Nimrod, Dr. Nimrod, it's my pleasure having you in the studio with us here. I'm hoping that this is the Kickstarter for you to come into Nigeria so that we can have you live in our studio here at NTA. Yes? Dr. Israely?
I'm looking forward to meeting you. Be in Nigeria, it's about time, and do a project that will export millions of tons and brings back hundreds of millions of worth of euros and dollars to Nigerian farmers.
Thank you so very much. I'm looking forward to that eagerly, anxiously, and I'm believing that many Nigerians who are watching are also of the same mindset. Thank you so much, Dr. Israely. So
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye for now. For our viewers, it is never over. With close flow, just go to all our social media platforms and be sure that you join this conversation, because he has said to us that there is a connection between what you want to do. If you want to achieve prosperity, you want to overcome poverty, then your mindset must also be changed. So go and watch the program again and follow the conversation and see if you would like to ask further questions. So until next week, it is bye from us.